So, good day, everyone. We're here for another episode of the DVD show. So, for today, we have a former De La Salle Green Archer and now a current player of the Barangay Ginebra San Miguel in the PBA. Gonna play his first game today when we're recording this on September 28th. So, I'll now welcome here to the DVD show, Jamie Malonzo. Thank you for joining me on the pod.
Thank you, Diego, for having me.
Yeah, appreciate you joining. So yeah, to start things off, and you mentioned that you're gonna go to the game in a few minutes. So how's been life like for you with Ginebra and your new team, and also off the court? What have you been doing now for you and yeah your team?
Really, I'm just first off, Ginebra has been super fun, super great for me. They've been doing a great job getting me and Von Pessim all caught up, so I'm super grateful for that. It's just been a really team effort. It's been the players, the coaches, all getting me caught up in such a short period of time before leading up to our game. So that I'm super grateful and excited for, and then of course just handling my off the court stuff, making sure my body's right in preparation. So
Yeah, that's great. And how many weeks have you been playing with Ginebra or practicing with them in the few tune-up games?
I want to say a little over a week, maybe a week and a couple days. So
Oh,
uh,
that's
yeah, so they it's been a grind this last week. We've been practicing hard, so hopefully we go out there and show what we've been working on.
Yeah. As you know, since even if you've been with Northport the past few conferences, you've seen that Ginebra plays less triangle now. So, do you think
Mhm.
that you could thrive in that system?
Definitely. I think over this last few practices, I've been trying to pick my spots, and honestly, with the new offense, the ball comes very easily, and everybody gets their touches. So I think it's really on us, and depending on how good we play, I think we could do a lot of damage this conference for sure.
Yeah, but then you being there for like 1.5 weeks,
hmm
who has been close to you or who has been mentoring you or guiding you with the system? And especially, you know that Coach Tim's very meticulous coach.
Yeah, I would say I would have to go with a few guys. Honestly, everybody, it's like I said, it's been a team effort. I think, well, first off, Cone has been super great with me. He's been patient. He's been, anytime I need to learn something, everybody on the team's been patient. Jared Dillinger has been a great leader.
Oh yeah.
I think Justin Brownlee has been there for me as well.
hmm
Stanley, make sure I'm doing everything how I'm supposed to. And then on top of that, I think just the guys that have been there, LA, Japeth, and Scotty, have been super patient with me, and they've been helping me out on the side as well. So I'm blessed.
Yeah, for sure. But then being with these stars, and as you know, in the NBA or in other leagues, people would criticize them and say there are so many stars and it'll be tough because there's only one ball in the floor. So how would all these superstars mesh? Like even when San Miguel got Terrence Romeo and CJ Perez, and people were criticizing them because they were losing the first few conferences with that crew. So with
Right.
you guys, what would you say that Ginebra wouldn't, have that hump? And do you think that you guys will still flourish even if you guys have a lot of ball dominant players?
Right. Honestly, I would just say at Ginebra, we have all these star players, but then like I said, the ball moves a lot. I think within the system that we're playing within, everybody has their strengths, weaknesses, and everybody has the opportunity to show what we can do within this system. And shoot, I'm losing my train of thought, but honestly, we 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 share the ball a lot at where we're at within this system, and I definitely think that even with all these star players, we still have pieces that complement each other for some reason. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think I don't know. I still think we're a team at the end of the day with all these star players. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So
Yeah.
I think one of the first things that they mentioned to me was, over here we don't really care who scores. We don't care um, who's having a hot game. As long as we get the dub, and I think that's what's more important for this team. So.
Mm-hmm. How about for the first few games of this conference? I'm pretty sure you know that there are a lot. I know you watch a lot of the PBA games, even if it's not your team, and you've seen like the Bay Area Dragons, who's been phenomenal so far. So, what's your assessment of these opponents that you guys will have, and what do you think is the like? Do you think the Ginebra can seriously contend for a championship now in the Commissioner's Cup?
Um, for sure. I think it's easier said than done. I think
Mm-hmm.
you know, we of course are watching everybody very
Mm-hmm.
closely, and I think what's more important for us is trying to get as good as we can get. I know we're very focused on what we're doing over here, so I think we'll just take it one game at a time. And what Tim Cone says, we don't want to be great now; we want to be great later. And so that's something we've been preaching. And yeah, I think we're just more focused on what we're doing here, and then I think it'll carry over to those opponents that you're talking about. So.
Yeah. How about the Bay Area Dragons? What do you see of them? Do you like the concept of having a guest team that can win a championship and having players that aren't Filipinos playing in the PBA and they have an import like Miles Powell and Andrew Nicholson, who are former NBA players?
Yeah. For me, I like it. Anytime there's more competition in the league, I think it's fun for not only us as players, but also the fans, And so I think I know there hasn't been too many games so far, but my favorite to watch was the Northport versus the Bay Area Dragons
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
So I think like I said, it brings excitement. It brings games that the fans want to see. People get excited for new faces, and so I think the Bay Area Dragons are great. They're a great team, and I'll be excited to play them. I think we play them on Sunday.
Yeah,
So
Sunday. You guys play
yeah,
them like they play Converge and then they play you guys, I think, soon. So
right,
that'll be fun for sure. I think a lot of
right,
people are gonna be in the arena to witness that, and I think Miles Powell is still gonna be the import because I think he'll play at least the first four games of.
first four.
Yeah, first four games. So, what did you think of Miles' game winner? Like, did you think Northport was gonna win already? Because honestly, I thought Northport was gonna win that, but then he made a tough shot over Prince Ibe.
Right. So I was actually watching the game, and um, my my phone had lagged as the shot went up. So
Yeah,
I actually didn't get to see the ball go through the hoop, but I remember he caught the ball, he started running towards the three, and I knew he was gonna shoot it. I knew
yeah,
for sure he was gonna shoot it. And then all of a sudden it lags, and then I see him doing this with his shirt, and I'm like, oh man. But yeah, I was pulling for my Northport guys, for sure in that one.
mm-hmm. Yeah. You mentioned about your Northport guys, and you know that you and Robert Bollock are like the top tier players on that team since you got to the PBA. So how did the organization like inform you about the trade, or did you have some inkling? And how was your reaction also when you moved to Ginebra?
I was actually probably one of the last ones at practice. I was just giving up extra shots, and the way it happened was Coach Pito called me in, and then I got the phone call saying I was going to be traded. So I had a good feeling by the way he called me in. It was super urgent, and with all the rumors, I actually had no idea it was coming. I was getting ready to play a game on Wednesday with Northport, so
Oh,
uh,
okay.
I sort of knew right away that it was an important call. So um, just being on that phone call and hearing I got traded, obviously I had super gratitude towards Northport, and not gratitude, but I was kind of sad I had to leave my guys. I had a bunch of friends there, a bunch of relationships that I built over the last year, and so that was the sad part for me. But then, going to a team like Ginebra, I was very excited. Um, like I said, just being around these guys and learning from these guys. I'm all about learning and soaking it all in while I'm young, and
Mhm.
yeah, so I'm super excited for what's to come.
Yeah, I'm excited as well because as you would know, I'm like a huge Ginebra fan since like Mark Tagiwa and JJ Helterbrand days.
For
So
sure.
it'll be fun to see you, especially you coming from LaSalle also, and me still studying in LaSalle. So I'll
Yeah,
be tuning into the game later, and hopefully you put on a show and you guys get the first victory for Ginebra this conference. But
I'm
yeah, for
hoping.
the yeah, yeah. For the next part of the interview, I wanted to touch more about your childhood and upbringing. Like I asked my guests a lot about that, so that the viewers could learn more about you. Since the more media interviews you give, it's more about like the current things happening in the sporting world. But now,
For sure.
learning more about your journey, I just know that you grew up in Seattle. So maybe you could expound more on how your childhood was like. If basketball was your first love, did you try other things when you were a child before seriously playing basketball? How was it like?
So growing up in Seattle was it was a very heavy basketball culture city.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, probably in the last decade or so, it's probably grown to be bigger than what it used to be. But
Mm-hmm.
I would say I was actually a late bloomer. I didn't actually play any select sports until high school. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I was always just playing basketball within my friends and playing within the inner city like community centers. So I was never actually on the AAU circuit or playing any select basketball till
Yeah.
high school. And yeah, so right when I got to high school, my dad had put me in a private school. It's called O'Day. It's an all boy private school in Seattle. So that was a big change for me. And over there, I was able to get serious about playing the sport. And actually, baseball was my first sport, but then I started to learn how to dunk, and I started to see that I was better than people in basketball. And so that's when I made the jump and went full on basketball. And yeah, I was I think in my 4 high school years in Seattle, I played a bunch of great competition from Dejounte Murray,
Mm-hmm.
Zach Levine, and Matisse Thybulle. And so these were all guys that we'd be playing in high school. And so yeah, definitely fell in love with it then. And then I sort of just went along the path I went on, and ended up playing professionally, which was honestly a dream come true. So happy that happened.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, Seattle's been one of those players with a lot of NBA players, and they could say, I hear from like podcasts in the US that they feel that Seattle could compete with like the likes of LA and all these other cities in the
For
US that are
sure.
in basketball. So, did from that time on, did you feel that those guys like the Dejounte, Zach, Matisse, did you feel that they were already heading toward the NBA at such a young age when you were playing against them?
At that age, we were so young. I'm sure if you asked them, they would have been like, "Yeah, for sure."
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think at that age, I think that's the beauty of it. You never really, you can never tell the future, and then just a lot of these players, they get better over the years. They put in the work, and just growing up around those guys and actually being friends with those guys, and you see them make it. You're happy for them because they came from the same city as you. So
Mm-hmm.
for
So
sure.
being in Seattle and knowing more about the environment there. So why would you think that the players continue to have producing like big names and NBA names, like even now Paulo Banqueros from Seattle. So why would you think there's like a great sustainability and you say it's growing, and even though there's no like NBA franchise yet, which I'm actually hoping they expand to soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping that happens too.
Yeah.
Like I said, the basketball culture in Seattle is definitely growing. It's definitely being recognized. I think back before in the past decade, we had our selected few players like Peyton Siva and
Mm-hmm.
Tony Wrote and stuff. But I think over this last few decades, they've really been watching us, and I think the leaders in our city like Jamal Crawford, Nate Robinson, Isaiah Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
They do a good job helping the kids out. They're always coming back to the community. They're always doing open gym runs. They're always throwing pro-am games. And so, we get the chance to play in front of a lot of people, and I think we're starting to get noticed for sure.
Yeah, but how about your thoughts on the Paulo and the Jonte beef? Was that like just for like a clout on social media? Because now it looks like they're close again.
It was weird for sure. I was there for the day one of the Isaiah Thomas weekend, so I I was able to adapt Dejounte up. Paulo's obviously my guy, and we they were playing on opposite sides of the court, you know. So once they, you know, their teams met, I think when you're between those lines, like it's always going to be competition, you know. I think
Yeah.
I know Dejounte a little bit, you know. He's a good guy at heart, so you know anything he does, you know, I think people are gonna try and twist and turn, but I think it was just competition at the end of the day, honestly, and uh, yeah, for sure, just competition.
Yeah. But yeah, growing up in Seattle, I mean, it's not, I don't know if there are a lot of Filipinos there, and you're not like in LA or in San Francisco where you'd be immersed to the Filipinos. So did you actually like eat Filipino food? Did you speak Filipino? Did you have encounters with Filipino people, or were you really unaware of the country at that juncture?
Nah, no way, man. My mom, I grew up with my mom. She's from Pampanga. She cooks everything.
Oh,
Early
okay.
age, I think I was eating everything.
Mhm.
My favorite food used to be dinuguan until I found out
That's
what it
great.
actually was, and then I stopped sort of eating it. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, my family is, I have a, I'm 50-50. So, you know, I have my dad's side and I have my mom's side, and they're all Filipino on my mom's side. And I think that's where I really spend all of my family parties, Christmas parties, New Year's parties, birthday parties, so
Wow, okay.
Thanksgiving parties. So I've always been around my Filipino side. I don't think I've ever never knew about the Philippines. So um, what can I say? You know, as far as the language, it was always around me growing up as a kid. I just never actually picked it up. You know,
So
my
you
auntie.
understand it though.
I understand a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
especially in context. Like I could pick up a little bit. I could speak a little bit. I'm not fluent, but like I said, it's always been around. My aunties would be in the back. You know, they used to do the karaoke, sing Filipino songs. I
Oh,
grew
yeah.
up with my mom watching Filipino movies. Never knew what anyone was really saying, but I still enjoyed those memories. So
Yeah, that's great that you're really immersed with it. Like heading into the Philippines, you're not like 0% aware on what's going on here. But what prompted you to actually try it out here? I mean, I knew you were a one and done player with Keyshawn Meeker and James Lapp. I mean, people may have thought that if you were gonna go here, you were gonna go to the PBA already or MBPL or Alab or something else like Pro League. But then you still decided to go to the UAAP. So what was the process of you playing in college and then deciding to be a one and done? And yeah, did you welcome the change right away, or were you like hesitant at the onset? What was it for you?
um so I've always had people reaching out to me from the States to come to the Philippines, whether that was colleges or anything else. So I always had it in the back of my head. You know, I never really was the type to just cut off an option early.
Mhm.
So I think after I finished my 4 years of college back home in the States, you know, everybody's sort of looking for their next move, their next job, whether it's professional or not. Um, I guess I did choose to go to LaSalle. I got recruited to go there. I know that paperwork was it's much easier now, but paperwork in the PBA was sort of
Mhm.
little harder. You know, you had to get everything together. So I think it was just a perfect step for me to get recognized, being able to play. And on top of that, just figuring out all the paperwork stuff. I know that I actually, going into the UAP, I actually wasn't familiar much at all, honestly. So I didn't I didn't realize how big it was until they started telling me, you know, the LaSalle players started telling me how big it was, and I think I had an opener as the first game against Ateneo, so I sort of got thrown into the fire early,
Mhm.
and then yeah, I guess from there I got familiar pretty quickly what it was like. So um, yeah, now I am where I am. So
Yeah, yeah.
loved my.
Before we, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I loved the path I took, and I probably wouldn't trade it for anything. So.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, before we talk about like the basketball of you playing for La Salle against Ateneo in that first game, so how was your welcome to the Philippines moment and welcome to LaSalle, like were you interacting with the students? Were you, since I think you were masters already when you were here, like how was the feeling like of being in LaSalle? And I think that was still pre-pandemic, so you could have some sort of like interaction with the students, with the staff, with the like mga tindero people. How was it like for you?
It was cool. For sure. I was sort of, the new person on campus. I was only there for probably a month before the season started, so um, just getting familiar with some of the students. We did the what do you call this? I think it was called like a sort of a school rally, a school parade.
Yeah, Animo Rally. Yeah, it's today actually for
Is
this.
it actually today?
Yeah, for UAP season 85. Yeah, it's
Oh,
today.
I feel sorry for some of those guys down on the team because yeah, I don't know if you know the LaSalle tradition. They put the guys in dresses and skirts, right?
I think they're doing it today. I mean, that's what I heard, but I don't know. I'm not gonna be there, but I heard that they'll do it.
Yeah, so that was sort of an introduction. Um, Luckily, I actually didn't plan this. I had a dentist appointment the year I was supposed to do it and hop in the dress, so I didn't actually do it, but it was
Oh,
cool.
okay.
Yeah, so I saw a lot of my teammates in skirts. I think that was a introduction for me. And then of course just the first game that we played, there was a couple thousand people in the arena, and that was a good introduction for me. So
In Seattle, do you play with that many people on the stands, or was it the first time to play in Araneta against Ateneo with that many people?
mm, I think the biggest game I played in back home was, I think it was my college team. We were playing Duke University and the Trailblazers arena, Portland
Oh,
Trailblazers arena.
mm,
And I think that only turned out to be about 15,000, and that was loud for me. That was a
yeah.
big facility, big arena, and it was filled up. So, when I go to the Philippines, I start seeing 20,000, and I think in the UAAP, there's drums playing.
Yeah, that
What I
adds to
thought
it.
what I thought was loud before was nothing compared to the Philippines. So,
Yeah, for sure. So entering
yeah.
that game, we can't go out of this episode to not talk about your dunk on 30 Ravenna. Did you actually know like who Ateneo was that time and who 30 Ravenna was? And if you dunked on him, you'd go viral on social media? Or were you just playing like, yeah, you barely knew and you were just having fun with the game and getting a feel of Philippine basketball that time?
For sure, I was having fun. For sure, I was getting a feel. I didn't know who. I mean, not. I was informed before going in that Ateneo was, the team to beat. 30
Mm-hmm.
was the guy. I think going into the game, I think Richie Rivero had his dunk that went viral like a week before.
Yeah,
So
the UP FEU game, I think.
yeah, I started seeing that on like what is this, like viral platforms back home, like Ball is Life.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it's like, oh, I got to do something crazy then too. So yeah, I didn't know that I was gonna do exactly what I did, but I had a good feeling that no one knew I can jump, so I wanted to catch someone.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, I mean, from an Alasal perspective, it was 30. I mean, it had more impact because it was the star player of the
Yeah,
opposing team. I mean, if it was 30 or Ange, that would have been really great. So I didn't even know that much about you. And then when you dunked, I was like, oh, this guy is really good. And you guys don't know him. And yeah, it's great because
yeah.
you really proved us wrong. You didn't prove you proved us well because you won the mythical five in that season. But talking about dunking, I mean, you know that yeah, here sometimes it gets amplified. Let people talk about it more when you dunk. So how have you been enjoying the Philippine culture in terms of that receiving like the messages or like the viral videos of you dunking, even not only in LaSalle but even now in the national team or in the PBA? I'm pretty sure you receive a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure. I've always been the type, to want to please the crowd. I
Mm-hmm.
think, it's a very exciting part of the game, and I think, being me and being Filipino, and I have this ability, I just want to be able to share that with everybody. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I think that's sort of my motivation. Every time I get the chance, I want to dunk you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, just making a name for myself and proving to people who I am is a big part of it as well. Just being able to make a name for myself and be loud about it. I don't like how I get labeled as a dunker sometimes, though. I joke
Mm.
around and I try and tell people like, "Hey, I'm gonna just start laying up the wide open shots."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I feel like I could do a lot more than just dunk, and um, yeah, just I'll be able to prove that with my career. So.
Yeah, they really enjoy like people who could dunk here. I mean, you know, the one that not a lot of people could dunk like you in the country, and there are a lot of guys who just play off the ground. But yeah, it's been enjoyable to watch. You can't wait to see you with Ginebra. But going back to Mythical Five, the season 82, you know that LaSalle was one of the most talented teams, but they failed to make the Final Four. You had some games wherein you're arguably one of the best teams in the season, beating UST twice, beating Adamson, where you scored like 30 plus points. So, how tough was that season for you? What were like the positives and negatives of it, and why do you think you guys missed the Final Four or like the championship?
I think mm, I think it was just a lack of experience.
Mm-hmm.
We had a like couple guys that were fairly new. They didn't really, myself included, we really didn't know what to expect, and I think all the other teams sort of had that upper hand on us. Um, on top of that, I definitely think we're talented to get it done. I think we let a few games slip. Um, Not downplaying UE that season, but I think they're sort of at the bottom of the pack, and we sort of let a game slip.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
I
I remember that.
think Ray Suerte hit a game winner. I don't think that was
Yeah, yeah.
in that
I forgot to
game.
mention that, but
But yeah, so that was definitely a deciding factor. And on top of that, we lost to UP twice. I think I had blew one of
oh
those. I think I might have blew both of those games, honestly.
oh
So
yeah, the 1-3. I was in the arena at the time when Juan hit the three.
Juan hit the three. Kobe backdoored me on the second one, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, so yeah, we definitely just let a few games slip away from us. And then if none of those happened, I think we would have been able to compete, especially in the Final Four. I think we would have all been excited for that.
Hmm.
But nonetheless, I think all of us that are playing in the PBA now, some of the players from before have definitely taken all those experiences and learned. So I think that's the positive we can take. So
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, you know that our school got heavily criticized with those late game lapses, not only from you, but like the team in general. Because yeah, it
yeah,
really tough those losses, like Ray Suertes game winner. I felt that was like a 10% chance he was gonna make it. He still made it. And the
yeah,
UP game, I mean, people said UP was more talented than us, but I don't know, everything was clicking until the latter part. So LaSalle was definitely talented. But you, what would you cherish the most, maybe from your teammates in that season, or your coaches, or the opponents you see, like the whole experience of being in a UAP floor for like 1 year?
For sure. I was only there for a few months. And so I think in those 4 months, I became super close to a lot of those guys, a lot of those teammates I had. And then like Andre, Aljun for say, we take it to the PBA, and it's just great to be able to see those guys succeeding in their um, respective teams and going against those guys and having those battles meaningful for me. Of course, the coaches from LaSalle at the time, definitely thankful for them because it was the start of um, pretty much my professional career as well. So
Mm-hmm.
super grateful for those relationships.
Yeah. How about the Mythical Five Award? Did you expect that? Did you see the trajectory going that way, or is it more unexpected for you?
I didn't even know what that was until the last game. I think we were playing for pretty much nothing, so I really
The
had no.
Adamson, he scored
Yeah, so,
30 plus.
yeah. I think. Oh snaps. I think. Let's put that on wrong. But I think Danny had mentioned to me I got to get like 10, I don't know, 10 rebounds and like 15 points to be on Mythical. So, yeah, I didn't know what a Mythical 5 was until that last game. So I guess that was a little bit of motivation for me.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe. I mean, that was the first game I covered because I was still a frosh at the time, and they were like, "Oh, you try covering this game wherein it's like LaSalle versus Adamson." I was like, "Sure, why not?" And then you exploded, so there was something to write about and expound on in the article, even if maybe the other LaSallians weren't interested because they were out. So it was a great time to cover you the first time that in that game. But yeah,
Right.
being in LaSalle, and yeah, I see you still watch the games, and I know I saw you in the volleyball game and the LaSalle Ateneo Final Four season 84. So maybe you could also expound on LaSalle now, starting the season on Saturday. Like, what do you see about LaSalle? Like, do you see them winning the championship? Do you see them? Do you see like someone making it to the mythical five? Like, who has impressed you from the team? Those kinds of things.
You know, I'm teammates with Kev Kiamba, so
Oh
you know,
yeah,
I think he has a good chance at showcasing a lot. You know, with his ability. Um, I think I got to see him a little bit in the Gilas, and I was very impressed. So that, and you know, obviously the team had found success last, what do you say, last season. So I'm excited to see what they can do in this season. Hopefully, you know, we'll be at the top. So I'm
yeah,
excited for sure.
yeah. Are you watching on Saturday live?
I think I have a game Sunday, so I'm gonna try and stay off my legs, but I'll be watching at home for sure.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
trying to pop my face in there, but I'll be watching for sure.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I think I'll be watching live and at
Nah.
MOA on Saturday to watch them against UP. But you mentioned already about Gilas, and I wanted to touch on it a bit before on this episode that it's the
Mhm.
first time that you played as a local in the last window in FIBA. So can you maybe elaborate on the process and how you were finally cleared to be a local? Because maybe the others are unaware, because before people would say you could only play if you were a naturalized player and stuff like that. So yeah.
Right. So I don't think anyone actually knew any of the details, but since they were playing, you know, everybody sort of figured. But it's been in the works for a while now. I've been like even throughout the last conference, or not last conference, but last year, my rookie season, I would be talking to Coach Cha and we'd be working on what we need to get it done. So I think after the last Philippine conference, we were working on it heavily. We met up back home in the States, and we were able to get the clearance from FIBA, which was super big for me. And yeah, I think from there, you know, I got the invite to the pool. Obviously, got the chance to play, and got the chance to put on the jersey. And I think that was a very special moment for me, and something I've been waiting on for a couple of years now, a while now. So I was super excited.
Yeah, congratulations on finally playing it for the national team. And I was excited to really watch you. And I watched those two games intently. And that was the also the first time Jordan Clarkson played in the FIBA competition for the Gilas Pilipinas. So how was that
Right.
experience for you playing with him? Like, were there times where you were nervous when he'd pass you the ball, or it's the first time you'd share the floor with him, especially in Lebanon because you guys, the crowd were against you guys in that time.
Yeah. For sure, you know, I really didn't know what to expect. I think, especially going to Lebanon, you know, we entered the arena and we finally seen what their crowd was like. As soon as we step out onto the court, you know, they're booing us. I think Jordan comes in late. They start booing him.
Mhm.
Real hostile environment, but I think they really just love like the competition and the different country going against a different country sort of war type environment. It felt like, and it was fun. You know, I think all of us enjoyed playing and again being the villains in the arena, and that I think that was super fun. So now that I have a couple of games under my belt, I think going forward, I know what to expect, and I'm just excited for what's to come.
Yeah. I wanted to also ask you, since I had Coach Charles Chu on the pod right after the two games to give his sentiments on the in his observations from the two games preparing for the World Cup. And he mentioned also about Coach Chot, like him being booed, and I was there in the arena. I was wondering like why were they booing him, and then
Yeah.
I realized that they kept doing it repeatedly, and it was him when his face was shown on the big screen, and they'd literally cheer for everyone else but him. So, from
hmm
you, from a player's perspective, and it's your first time donning the Philippine jersey, what were your initial like reactions to yourself when you were standing up and you heard that?
For sure, I was very, very shocked. I think Chot does a good job. For the most part, I think he does a great job handling all of the stuff he has to handle. His teams, I think at the time was in the championship. And he's even missed a few games with them just to be a part of
Yeah.
our group, and I think that's very meaningful. I think I don't know. I don't think he deserves the booze. I think he's a hardworking guy. And he's been doing this for how many years? So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I think I was just shocked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was shocked as well, even from a fan. So, what more you guys who were his coach? So, yeah, that's really tough, and hopefully it won't be repeated again. But for the World Cup, and I hope that you're part of the pool and possibly also the final 12. What do you think? What are your like honest expectations or realistic expectations? Like, do you think the national team could make it to like the second round, since the last two World Cups we failed to make it past that? In 2014, we almost made it, but failed to make it past the second round. So how do you think, and where do you think we will end up, especially us being the main host?
Um, I think we have a great chance, honestly. I think we have a great chance anytime we have a player like Jordan Clarkson, a player like Kai Soto. I think those are two very big pieces for us and our success. And just on paper, I think we're one of the most talented teams, I would say, or a lot of people would say. And so I think after we just finally find the right balance between us all and get the right amount of games in together, I think we can definitely make a run. So
Yeah, hope to see you guys. I hope to be a fan there and be there live. I mean, I know the tickets are gonna be expensive, but I hope I get to watch at least one or two of the games. And yeah, that's really exciting to see you play for the national team. And yeah, before we wrap up this interview, Jamie, I know that you have a game to catch. I just wanted to close it with a few questions that I ask my guests, and
for
these are
sure.
just chill questions. So one of it is, I'm pretty sure you're an NBA fan and you're friends with some of them, that in the bubble, starting in the bubble, the players are more vocal with social and political issues happening in their country. And as you know,
hmm
the Filipinos are more laid back, more shy when it comes to those things. But
hmm
in the recent elections and in the pandemic, when there are numerous social and political issues, they actually share their opinions or their sentiments more now on social media. So
hmm
why do you think athletes should be more vocal, or do you think athletes or sports personality should be more vocal, or they could be vocal on these social and political issues, especially that you guys have a platform and you can amplify your voice, educate your followers? Yeah, so what's your whole opinion on that?
Exactly. I think just being able to use our platform is something that us players should always take advantage of. I know that some people look at us just as athletes, and I think that in most cases they're wrong. I think we all have degrees. I think we all went to school to get to where we're at, and I think we're all humans at the end of the day and have a choice for what is this? Just freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I definitely think athletes should definitely use their platform sometimes to voice their opinions, and if not in the right ways, probably keep their opinions to themselves in some, not most, but some cases. But I think they should definitely use it in a positive way to reach out to the people.
Yeah. How about you personally? Are you actually more vocal now, or are you more laid back when it comes to these things? Even like being in the States also and learning more about the stuff going on there.
If it's something I truly believe in, I'll be the type to reach out and post something and try and bring acknowledgement to the light. But in some cases, if I'm, not exactly 100% sure I believe in it, I'll probably just stay in my own lane for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that's great to hear from you. And yeah, just wanted to ask you this other question. If you had the opportunity to have dinner with 5 people, dead or alive, who would you invite?
5 people. Probably go with Jay-Z, just because
Yeah,
that's a thing that goes around.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Probably Boss Donding from
Mm,
that recently passed. Probably go with like Martin Luther King Jr.
mm-hmm.
Uh, who else? It's a tough one. Probably Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
I think I'm at 4. Um, Probably go with someone like Elon Musk. He's a
Oh,
very
okay.
interesting
Yeah.
guy. Yeah, I'll just throw him in there.
Yeah, that's a unique one, the Elon Musk. I'm not sure if others have mentioned that, but yeah, that's a great
Right,
list for sure. Great
right.
list. And for the final question, you know that I just, message people, I email people because yeah, I'm not really in the sports media industry yet, and I try to invite you guys on the pod, and I've been happily obliged that people like actually, join the pod. And yeah, like you, I wanted to ask you like who would you suggest, to join the pod? Who would have a great story to tell? Who would be a great person to talk to about current sporting events? Like, who would you suggest?
Let's see. What I suggest? Probably go with. I'm trying to think of a unique one.
Yeah, doesn't need to be basketball too, because I interview others. But then, yeah, mostly basketball, volleyball, since that's what's popular here.
Okay, I guess we keep it on track. Um, I would probably say. Hmm, I want to pick a unique one, but I don't know. If I were to give you one right now, it'd probably be like Jeremiah Gray.
Oh yeah, I haven't had him on the podcast. Yeah.
I think he's had a unique story,
Mm-hmm.
and he probably definitely would enjoy talking about it. I think, especially once he gets ready to start playing, I think he would be a good candidate.
Yeah, I searched your name on YouTube like before our interview, and they were like Jamie Malonzo and Jeremiah Grace, the new Fast and the Furious of Ginebra. So yeah,
I've seen that.
I'll try to guest him soon on the pod. And yeah, thank you for that suggestion, Jamie, and thank you for coming into the pod. And do you have any final message before you go?
I just want to say thank you, Diego, for having me. It was super fun.
Mhm.
And thank you to the viewers, for supporting your podcast as well. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. So
Mhm.
that being said, I think I just want to say thank you to them. Hopefully, we can get this show on the road on the court. So
Yeah, thank you again, Jamie. And before you go, is it okay if we take a picture?
for sure.
Okay, I'll take it from here. 1, 2, 3. Wait, it doesn't want to take. I'll just, wait. I'll try again. One, two, three. All right, there. Thank you so
All right,
much, Jamie, for joining me on the pod. And yeah, hope to see you soon out there in the games.
for sure. Anytime you see me around, let me know. It was
Yeah,
great on here.
yeah.